Hello, students. You have learned functions in the previous units. Now, we look into another side of mathematics which uses math in business. So for today's video, we will be learning to the basic concepts of business mathematics, which is all about interest. So what you need to know is at the end of the lesson, you will be able to define simple and compound interest and solve problems involving simple and compound interest.
So let's learn first the following terms. So let's begin with interest. So when a person invests or lends money, he gets or pays an additional amount on top of the original investment or loan. So this amount is called the interest. So from a lender's viewpoint, kung ikaw yung nagpapahiram ng pera, so this is the income or yung tubo on invested capital. Okay, but from a borrower's viewpoint, this is money paid for the use of money. Okay, now let's proceed to principal amount. So this refers to the amount of money extended for credit or the amount of money deposited in a bank for safekeeping. Next is the interest rate. This refers to the charge amount for using the money over a certain period. So this is charged by the lender or the rate of increase of the investment. So it is commonly expressed in percent, but it is converted to decimal. We have the time or loan period, which is denoted by T. So the time here should be in years. So this refers to the period covered from the time that the money or the principal amount is borrowed until its due date. So the due date of the payment of the principal amount is known as the maturity or the future value. So next is the maturity value or denoted as the variable M. So this refers to the sum or the total of the principal and the interest. Then we also have the number of compounding periods, which is denoted by M. So a period is a time interval it takes for the money to be converted or to earn interest in a year. So for example, annual conversion means to compute the interest only once a year. So that is why M is equal to 1 if it is annually. And then for semi-annually, that means twice a year. Then for quarterly, that is 4 times a year. For bi-monthly, it means every 2 months or 6 times a year. And then monthly, that is 12 times in a year. So in case of daily compounding period, banks normally use the conversion formula, which is 1 year is equal to 360 days. Okay?
Simple interest. This refers to an interest that is computed on the original principal during the whole period or time of borrowing. And the formula to get the interest is just equal to PRT, wherein I here refers to the interest, P for principal amount, R is the rate, and T is the time. To get the maturity value, we have this formula. M represents for the maturity value of the money, which is equal to the total or the sum of the principal amount and the interest. Or you can also use this formula, P plus PRT, for maturity value. We just have to substitute lang yung formula in finding the value of our interest. That is PRT. And then we can also have this formula. We have P times the quantity, 1 plus RT. So if you distribute this P to the term inside the parenthesis, it will just return to its original expression, which is P plus PRT. Okay? Next is for compound interest. This refers to the sum of interest of prior periods computed on the original or principal amount and each of the successive periods on both the principal and the interest. So here's the formula in finding the compound amount. So we have C is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus R over M raised to the power of MT. Okay, and in finding the interest, just get the difference between the compound amount and the principal amount. And please take note the description of each variable. Okay? So now that you're able to understand the difference between the two kinds of interest, let's have a practice. Mr. Winston wants to start a lending corporation. So he wants to determine what interest rate should he offer to earn 140 pesos in just 2 months if the customer borrows 8,000 pesos. So let's identify the given information. So we have here interest, which is equal to 140 pesos, wherein this is the goal of Mr. Winston to earn in just 2 months. And then we also have our principal amount, which is 8,000 pesos. So ito yung ipapaborrow ni Mr. Winston sa kanyang customer. And then the time is just 2 months. So we know that time should be in years. So we need to convert months to years, and that is 2 over 12 years, since we know that in a year there is 12 months. Or in simplest form, that is 1 over 6 years. Okay? So we are looking for the interest rate. Okay? So how to solve this problem? We just have to review the formula for interest, and that is equal to PRT, right? So you can use this triangle to easily identify or derive the missing information. Okay? So since we're looking for the value of R, so that is just equal to I, or the interest, over P times T. So just substitute the given facts to the formula. So we have here 140 divided by the product of 8,000 and 1 over 6. And it will give us an answer of 0.105. Hence, Mr. Winston should offer 0.105 or 10.5% simple interest rate if he wants to earn 140 pesos in just 2 months if the customer borrows 8,000 pesos. So let's proceed to our second example. Jocelyn plans to raise 300,000 pesos in 3 years. Wow. So the question is, how much should she save to have the desired amount if she deposits it in a bank account that pays 12% compounded quarterly? Okay, so let's identify the given information. So we have here the compounding amount, which is 300,000 pesos, which is the goal of Jocelyn. And then the rate is 12%, or that is 0.12. We have here the compounding period is 4, since the interest rate is compounded quarterly, and we know that there are 4 quarters in a year. And then the time is 3 years. So we're looking for the principal amount, diba? We are looking for the desired amount that she needs to deposit to raise that certain amount, which is 300,000 pesos. So now let's solve the principal amount by using the formula. C is equal to P times the quantity 1 plus R over M raised to the power of NT, since this is an example of a compound interest problem. So just substitute the given information to the formula, okay, and it will give us this equation. So we have 300,000 is equal to P times 1 plus 0.12 over 4 raised to the power of 4 times 3. So we are looking for the value of P. So isolate this P, we need to divide both sides by the quantity 1.03 raised to the power of 12. And it will give us an answer of 210,414 pesos. And 414 pesos now for her to have 300,000 pesos in 3 years. So based on our discussion, what do you think is the best interest to use? If you are going to invest your money, will you choose those offering simple interest or compound interest? And if you are going to lend a money, will you choose lending companies or investment institutions offering simple or compound interest? Let me know your answer in the comment section below. So that's it for today. I hope you've learned something. If you have questions or concerns, feel free to message or consult your teacher. See you in our next video.